Oh, hold on. Okay. I thought I opened up a second window. I was very confused for a second. Well, everyone's favorite is back.
I don't know why I even really give a shit, but I do. Like, I kind of got excited for her. I was like, all right, good. She finally got cleared. She's going to be in the Rumble. She's not going to win, but...
No. Well, the reason you're happy to hear she's back is, like, Jason Jordan's having problems. Braun was having problems getting back. Everybody who's getting injured is just having a longer recovery time.
I'll tell you what, though, it sort of seems to me like we could possibly be seeing a Bliss face turn, too, kind of through this, because,
maybe,
you know, I have a feeling this is the very beginning of her going to have a feud now with, what's her face that interrupted a moment of bliss, the one that just got called up. Shit.
Well, Nikki and Scarlett both got called up. Or not Scarlett Bordeaux. Wow, I was thinking she was Scarlett Bordeaux. No, it's the other blonde one. Apologies to blonde women everywhere.
The one with the big hat and shit.
The one with the big hat! the one who's doing Sonny's gimmick from 1992 all over again.
She pretty much.
This is the OVW Sonny gimmick, except not with OVW and not with Sonny. But hey.
Kind of Army Southern Belle kind of deal.
Yeah, I think it could work. I mean, people seem to like how she looks. I don't know how. I'm ignorant to it. I really haven't watched that much of the NXT weekly programming to know how she did wrestling. But
I've been very bad at NXT lately, and it sucks because guys like Dijak and
I know
Warbeard and all of them are wrestling pretty much weekly now.
But I saw the UK takeover. The UK takeover was
I love that.
That was a very good show. And I'm looking forward to the next one, which is not the UK, but the NXT US. Phoenix?
Yep.
That's where so that's
before the Rumble.
This is Saturday then. All right. Good stuff. Saturday and Sunday. We got some shows coming up. Looking forward to it. Rumble, the Royal Rumble is always, WrestleMania, of course, but the Royal Rumble is the pay-per-view to see. Man. If you haven't, and especially for if you have friends that don't watch wrestling necessarily, it's a good pay-per-view to have them watch.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because you understand wrestling matches, one-on-one or tag team, and somebody gets pinned or whatever, but the 30-man every 2 minutes or a minute and a half, whatever they decide, because it's never actually real, spoiler alert, but they get that. That's like a special thing, and it is, because it only happens once a year, but it's something that a non-wrestling fan can kind of latch onto. Like, they'd be interested in seeing, this is like who's going to come out. So,
well, you know what it is too? It's that the Rumble the crowd is always great. So they feed off of the emotion of the live crowd, and you never know what's going to happen. There's always surprises at the Rumble. Listen, it could be Kenny Omega. For all we know, he could be a surprise this year. We don't know. I mean, there's a number. Owens and the fact that they've been saying now that Owens isn't going to be cleared now, possibly until after Mania, tells me that he's going to be at Royal Rumble.
He should definitely. He should definitely.
You have all these guys that are going to come back, and then you always have a legend or two that they usually come out, or a big acquisition. So it should be interesting. Listen, if Kenny Omega does come out, my gut tells me he's going with AEW, but
yeah, I feel like he's got to go with those guys. I mean, they're his friends. They started a new company. You'd think he'd be jumping on that, but then again, Marty is still with Ring of Honor, and I know that's because he signed a contract. But what I'm saying is, he's there. He's got a new faction, Villain Enterprises. So, I mean, he's locked up for a little while. Kenny's the different story because his is only until the end of the month. So I guess we'll see if they worked, because that's the thing. They can always work something out. They can always work out a deal with WWE could buy out the rest of the contract or something. Who knows? Because it's his contract's supposed to be until the end of the month, and the pay-per-view takes place in January. So who knows? Who knows? Who else is that person that would get a big men or women's Rumble that would get that big shocked response this year?
CM Punk. That's about it.
Every year we could just throw that name in there. CM
Pretty much, you know. But
really
yeah, I don't know.
I think the only prayer we have of CM Punk getting back into wrestling is with AEW. I don't think there's a shot in hell that he's coming back to WWE. And I'm okay with that, you know, but I don't think it's going to happen at all at this point.
No, I don't think he's going to wrestle.
But,
I mean, he might
you make a good point, though. Other than Omega and him, who else is on either Rumble is that big of a name that would draw that?
Especially since they're just going along. Well, yeah, I'd like Batista. I don't know about anybody else.
I mean, you know, if they're going to do a Batista Triple H Mania thing, now would be the time to kind of start putting that together if Triple H is ready. So
there's rumors that whatever film Batista's filming is going to conflict with the WrestleMania date, so that could be a problem. But
that could be a problem.
Who knows? They said that before. They said that Ronda was in Colombia, and she showed up at the Royal Rumble. So
true.
They can work.
And Jericho's done that a million times.
Of course. And here's the thing, though. This year's kind of different with the surprise entrance because throughout the year, WWE's just been signing guys. They've just been throwing contracts around. If you get an offer from somebody on paper, we'll double it and all kinds of crazy shit. They just want to collect talent now. They're just collecting talent. So
I really think a lot of it has to do with who's gonna win in the title matches too.
Yeah.
As far as who's gonna win the Rumble.
Yeah, because who won last year? Is that bad that I don't even remember who won last year?
Nakamura.
Oh, that's right.
That
was the year that Japan had a very good Royal Rumble and a very bad WrestleMania. Yeah. So that's a SmackDown guy. And before that was Randy Orton, who was also a SmackDown guy. I think it's either Drew or Seth at this point. Those are my only two guesses. Drew or Seth are going to win this thing. Because somebody has to slay Brock Lesnar for real this time, I guess. I don't know.
But I'm with look, I listened. I know I haven't been on in a while, but I listened to the last couple of shows, and Steve had said something like he's much more interested in Seth versus Finn than Seth versus Brock, and I have to agree.
Thank you.
It would probably be a better match, technically speaking.
And did you read the reports of how apparently Finn is not going to be the Demon at the Rumble?
Well, now that could also be,
right.
But if he's not, there's a big drop in, as Scott Steiner would say, his chances drastic go down if he's not the Demon. But
Scott Steiner mathematics.
I just don't understand why they wouldn't have him come
out. I know.
Well, because if he comes out and eats 3 F5s and gets pinned, they don't want the Demon to come out and take that.
So they'll put the belt on
attraction. They could. But I feel like if they're setting up Brock and Seth down the line for WrestleMania, there's built-in story from WrestleMania 31 where Seth came in, stole the title, etc., etc. They never really had a resolution to that. If you remember, I mean, there was a three-way match with him and John Cena and Brock, but there was
a one-on-one contest. Undertaker came out.
Right, so it was never really settled. Then again, it was 5 years ago at this point. So is anybody going to remember?
Well, listen, video footage package will bring back the memory.
Yeah, and they're very. If there's anything they're good at, it's that fucking WrestleMania package.
Yeah.
No matter, it could be the Brooklyn Brawler against Brock Lesnar, and they'd make a good WrestleMania package.
But, you know, they could just as easily have Brock versus Seth, not even for the title either.
That's true, but then you get you get Dean versus Brock, where the main roster guy just gets the tar beaten out of him for 15 minutes.
So, like, let's say Finn does win. Who other than Seth would be a good Mania match for Finn?
Yeah, I
mean, the number of guys, I'm sure. But.
Drew is a good match. That
would
be
Brock
like
get his rematch at that point?
Well, did they officially get rid of the rematch clause when the McMahons came back that week, or was that just a 1 week thing?
Why would we get rid of the rematch clause?
Well, Shane said that it was antiquated, and they're not doing it anymore.
They said that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so far, it's stuck. But then again, it's Brock Lesnar. So there are any number of ways you can write Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but there's also pay-per-views in between the Rumble and Mania, too.
True.
Yeah.
What pay-per-view is in between?
Elimination Chamber.
Right, the Chamber.
Which is always cool because then, presumably, the other brand, based on whomever that person is challenging, the other brand gets the Chamber for their main championship. So either the Universal or the Smackdown, the WWE title will be.
And they're going to do the women's tag titles are going to be crowned champions inside the Elimination Chamber.
It's going to be a big clusterfuck of a match.
Oh my god! And the problem is,
has great potential though.
It does, but the one thing that I'm noticing is people like Lay Cool are speaking up. There's the rumors about Trish and Lita. And I'm like, this is the Elimination Chamber.
Trish and Lita, we knew. We said that. We knew. Late Cool, that came out of nowhere. But
I just feel like you're putting these. I'm not saying anything against older women. I would be saying this if they put older men in this situation too. It's an elimination chamber with people who haven't wrestled in a very long time. You're just going to put them into this fucking structure where it's much safer than it has been in past years. They've changed the design of like the outside of the chamber because it used to just be fucking metal slats. Now it's a little better. But still, this is a dangerous match to just say, hey, Lay Cool, the last time you guys wrestled was last year's Royal Rumble. And before that was like 4 years or 5 years before that you've wrestled. So, yeah, just go out and have an elimination chamber match. Have fun. I'd be concerned. But, hey, they don't have to use all of the props and the climbing structures and the... As long as they stay on the ground, because I can picture Lita wanting to do her moonsault off the top of a pod. Or
that is like not going to happen.
Yeah, it'll end up being a RVD thing.
I could see her doing it maybe on top of, like, off the top of a pod.
And but that's what I'm saying. Off the top of a pod, and maybe somebody catches her. Not necessarily like 3 or 4 people around to catch her, rather than her landing on an opponent in the ring.
I can see
that. That would be better. That would be better.
It's going to be a first ever, so
everything is up in the air as of like as soon as I saw Braun get taken out of the Rumble title match, and the week before that they decided that Ronda was going to have a different opponent. It's like they're throwing everything out the fucking window right now. They're just
now, but that brings up a good point. We still don't know what Braun's fate is now at the Rumble, because they haven't announced that he's now going to be in the Rumble match.
Right.
So he's going to be a surprise. He's going to be in the Rumble.
Could be.
Yeah. I just assume he is.
Yeah, I think Bray Wyatt is going to be a surprise return.
Oh, I forgot about Bray.
Sure, he could come
back.
See,
that's why they're going to do it, because you forgot. See? But he'll be a big surprise. I mean, I don't know.
Harper and Rowan have been off TV. One of them was injured. I forget which one. I think it was Harper. Maybe it was Rowan. I don't know. One of them was injured, so they took both of them off TV.
Well, because they didn't want to do the whole single thing.
I'll tell you what. I wouldn't be mad at a Bray Wyatt Rumble win.
as
I don't
long
think
as
it's going to happen, but
See, you know what though? I agree with you. Like, see, that's the thing. Like, I almost want it to be somebody that we like would never expect, like Bray Wyatt or Elias, or something like that, where like a mid-card guy steps up and wins the fucking Rumble, and now all of a sudden becomes the main event at Mania. Like, to me, that's what I'm looking for. It's not going to happen.
I just had a brief flash of Mustafa Ali somehow winning the Royal Rumble.
I'd so be okay with that too, though. How far
Andrade Cien Almas or something?
That would be really good if they could somehow get the world
title. That would
title.
be a way to make him happy.
Yeah, if they could get the world title to Ray and have Cien Almas, who's just going by Andrade. If you go to the WWE roster page now, he finally got his name chopped. He's just Andrade right now.
No one's safe.
I'm so okay with that too, though, because it sounds so much better.
Yeah. No, so I know they're kind of not burning out, but they're doing Ray versus Andrade right now on SmackDown.
Their matches have been phenomenal.
So,
really good matches.
Title on the line: mask versus hair. Rey Mysterio, Andrade, WrestleMania. Boom.
I mean, I'm okay with that. I don't know. I just leave the fucking mask alone.
Well, it's been a while since they've teased Ray losing his mask because CM Punk was the last one to do it.
That's true. I don't know. I really, the chemistry between those two is really, really, really something special. They've really been putting on some classic matches. It's been fun to watch. Even the first few minutes when they're feeling each other out and all the reversals and it's nice.
Yeah, but I agree. I think that we're at the point where I understand that there are levels. When you look at a guy like Zack Ryder, we're not talking about, we're just going to have Zack Ryder win the Rumble because he's barely on TV. And I know they reformed the Dude Busters or the Major Brothers or the Edgeheads or whatever they call them last night. I'm not talking about like...
Is that like officially a thing now? Like they're like back together? Like they're going to push them as a team again?
The only reason I'm thinking that it's definitely going to happen, aside from Zack Ryder saving... why can't I remember his name right now? Who's the other guy? Kurt Hawkins. So he saved him from the beatdown last night. It seems like they're going to put him back as a team so they can feud against the Revival. Because the Revival's apparently not happy, so they're trying to get the Revival more screen time. And then they had the Revival actually talk to Vince McMahon backstage and say they're unhappy on TV, so taking the real life, bringing it into the fictional world.
Which I love when they do that.
It's interesting. I was like, oh, they're actually going this route. Okay. Acknowledging the internet rumors and acknowledging that those guys could be unhappy. So,
well, and can I just jump in real quick? Because after again, what happened last night, with the Revival, people kind of said what I did in the chat. A lot of social media was like, oh, Revival's getting punished. They get their ass beat by Zack Ryder, like this and that. At the end of the day, this is going to turn into the Revival winning the tag team titles. I believe.
I think so too. Eventually, because I mean, you can't have a storyline that a team goes out there and gets wrestled and somehow gets screwed on a fluky whatever every single week.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like that's not. It's not very realistic, and there has to be a resolution. It can't just be, oh, these guys go out and get screwed every week because then they look like a bunch of goofs. They have to turn it around and start winning, or maybe they win on a fluke. Something. They need to get their wins back. Otherwise, they're just two jobber guys that lose on a fluke.
100%.
Speaking of, so it seems like the tag team division, they're at least putting a little bit more focus on to try and appease the Revival, which if that's the reason you're going to do it, I'm fine with it. I don't care what your excuse is. Just if you're going to have two sets of tag team titles, have two tag team divisions. You've got on Raw, which the Raw was really kind of behind on the tag teams as opposed to SmackDown. SmackDown's got New Day
New
and the
Day.
Usos, everybody on. There are a bunch of good tag teams on the SmackDown side. The Bar, Raw really doesn't have a bunch, and so they're going to bring back the Dude Busters or whatever they're going to
possibly Owens and Zayn together again.
Could be, and Heavy Machinery.
The new Bushwhackers.
They did the Bushwhacker bounce.
They did.
How do you like his worm?
He calls it the Caterpillar.
Caterpillar, yeah. I knew that would get over on the main roster. I knew it.
Fact guy doing the
they're hilarious. I'm a big fan of them. I think they're great. Especially that guy, the one that does the Caterpillar. He's fucking hilarious.
Otis, yeah.
Otis Dozovic. That's great. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to go for the titles, at least initially, but I like those guys. I like that they're trying to add more teams, add some people with personality. Like those guys are unique. Otis is a unique character. So
yeah.
It's good to see, and so that they're really trying to bring back this Raw tag team division, which is a good thing. How do we feel about the women's tag team division and how it's shaping up?
I mean, it's slow. Listen, you've got Nia and Tamina, which, right there is just should be an indestructible tag team if you think about it. Right. You got Bailey and Sasha. It makes sense that they be a tag team. And I think they're going to definitely be tag team champions at some point. I think you're going to get the Bellas back. I think Nikki and Brie are going to come back now for the tag gold.
I think they're going to be the WrestleMania challengers for whoever wins.
I can see that.
I love Raw. There's reactions. It's beautiful.
I can see it though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think which other ones? You got Asuka and Naomi. They seem somewhat of a team, or they look out for each other. I think if Charlotte and Becky could ever put their shit aside and become a tag team, they would be phenomenal. There's a lot of potential. This is going to be exciting. The women's tag teams. I think there's a lot they could do with it. It's going to make for interesting stories, I think, too. It's going to be interesting if they do it right. At the end of the day, it's going to be about the execution and the game plan. If it's executed properly, then
you've got the Iconics, any combo of the Riot Squad.
Because this tag title is across both brands.
That's the Riot Squad, right?
Mandy and Sonya.
Yeah.
I left out a lot of them.
Yeah.
Sonya and Mandy. Did somebody say that?
Yeah.
It's a good thing for the undercard too, because if you can't hack it as a singles wrestler, or you realize that there's kind of a ceiling for you as a singles wrestler, grab somebody else, tag team, get yourself a gimmick, and go out there and do the thing.
And I know I sound like a broken record, but I feel like if the tag titles are cross-branded, then doesn't it not make sense to have two separate singles titles anymore?
What do you mean, like IC in United States?
No. Like with the women's division.
Oh,
I feel like they're testing it out with this title.
Listen, everything I've been hearing is, Eric, you're going to be very happy, because everything I've been hearing lately is that this is going to eventually lead to the brands getting back together. So you'll get your wish, which means they're going to have to drop one of the belts, which means they're going to wind up coming out with a new belt, probably.
A women's intercontinental title or something.
Oh my God. Please no.
I could definitely see that. Listen, I could definitely see that.
There's already a UK women's champion, an NXT women's champion. And the men's titles are just as spread thin. There's a lot of titles right now. There's a lot of titles.
Real quick, I just did want to just discuss real quick the Takeover UK Blackpool, just because there was a few things that like can highlighted by, first of all, the UK Tag Team title match was awesome. That was the opener. Unfortunately, Mustache Mountain did not win, but it was a great match.
Yeah, that was a good match.
Toni Storm is your new UK Women's Champion, which is awesome. That was a good match. Finn Balor came out to wrestle.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise for everybody.
And after Pete Dunne defended his title, fucking Walter came out. Got a tremendous ovation. That dude is tremendous.
He's a monster. It's great. And
they were chanting Walter like Goldberg. It was ridiculous. And that UK crowd was fucking phenomenal. I'd watch it just for that UK crowd alone.
And they know, because wrestling is in the UK and Europe, I don't want to say it's a small community, but it's a much smaller community than it is here in the US. So they're aware of all the big stars, because the big stars will come over from, like, let's say in Walter's case, come over from like Germany, that area, and work the UK, but they always go back to their home base. I was listening to the Wrestling Observer, and Meltzer was saying it's guys like Walter and then Ilya Dragunov. Both guys said they would never go to the WWE because they didn't want to live in America. They wanted to work in Europe and then have the ability to go back and be with their family. Now, with the UK brand, they have that opportunity. Walter doesn't need to live in the UK.
That's Triple H's vision, man.
And I thought of this like when I was in college 10 years ago or so. I was like, what if they just what if WWE brought back the territories? Like, we can't go back to the territory era of World Class in Dallas and Universal Wrestling on the West Coast. And the fucking
dude, it's kind of what's happening. It's kind of what they're doing.
They're bringing back their own.
Aren't they opening up another performance center in Australia now too? I heard. Like, they're opening up performance centers everywhere too. Like, that's exactly what they're doing. They're creating their own territories. They're just in charge of everything. But it's
which is a good and a bad thing. Good and a bad thing, because that can swing back the other way.
Well, I mean, but weren't most of the territories under the NWA banner anyway back then? At first, maybe.
Yeah, there was but then you'd have like Vern Gagne, who didn't want to always do what the NWA wanted to do, so
or Vince McMahon Sr.
Yeah. So like, Gagne would go form the AWA. Vince Sr. would be worldwide.
Eventually, Todd Gordon and Paul Heyman.
Right. Oh, geez. Todd Gordon and Paul Heyman, they swindled because by 94, the NWA was so small after WCW, spun off to their own thing with Turner. And it was just, the NWA wasn't in a good place, and really wasn't in a good place again until TNA brought that title back. And then eventually they split up again. So, and now it's back again with Billy Corgan. So we've got different pockets of wrestling all over the place right now.
Like, is this a way that they could get guys like Zack Sabre Jr. or Will Ospreay?
I think that's what they're thinking, is they can get those European or UK talents without having to try and sell them on getting a green card or becoming a U.S. citizen or moving away from.
And that's how they transition to the main roster, by going through like either NXT or NXT.
Right. So now, and
like NXT is its own thing, basically.
Yeah, NXT is its own brand at this point. It's still going to be perceived, and still is, like AAA baseball.
Aren't they considering bringing that onto one of the networks as well, instead of it only airing weekly on the network?
Yeah, I heard that could be part of the Fox deal.
And effectively killing what NXT is, what's special about it.
Now, why would you say that? If Triple H...
Because they're totally going to change the format.
Not necessarily. If Triple H, if Triple H has still complete control of everything, including production.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
And that could be a part of it, because you got to remember, Triple H, this is his baby. He's not going to just fucking give it up for a fucking Fox deal. You know what I mean? He would fight Vince on that, I would think. So I don't think
Smackdown was the big acquisition for the deal, but yeah, they can, I can imagine, like you said, if Triple H would say, listen, we'll put NXT on TV, but don't screw with it too much. Maybe that's a concession they were willing to make in order to get it on TV.
Like, will it still be in Full Sail? Like,
wait, say that again?
Will it still be at Full Sail?
Would the crowd be still at Full Sail, or would they expand it a little bit more?
Oh,
they already tour, so it would be. They would have to.
Yeah, they do tour, and plus they could have the takeovers at different. I mean, they have the takeovers at different cities now.
Right, so it's very possible that they could just start filming at their instead of being house shows, their TV tapings. But I know the Full Sail crowd isn't going to like that, because that's kind of like their thing. They like being that crowd.
I think it would be safe to say, though, because of money, it would make more sense for them to leave Full Sail and start filming NXT in the arenas where they're doing Raws and SmackDowns.
Yeah, but see what happened with 205 Live? Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah,
the crowd just doesn't care.
But come on. I mean, do you think that the crowd would not give a shit about NXT? I don't think we can compare NXT to 205. NXT has a very cult-like following. I don't know. Yeah. I could be wrong, but I don't think it would. I don't think it would get received the same way as 205 did. Eric, what do you think?
Well, like the big problem with 205 was that they put the way that they put it after. What didn't they put it like after SmackDown?
Yeah,
the crowd was like half leaving already, and
Well, I'm not saying that. Oh well, yeah, I guess I am.
That was the problem with 205 Live, I think. No, but I think you're right though. NXT is very much much more of a cult following and totally different than 205.
And listen, not for nothing, you put it on SmackDown on the night that SmackDown is, and you have it on before SmackDown. Have it an hour before. So then SmackDown really is like 3 hours, same as Raw. But at least you're not getting people, people will still tune in rather than it be at the end. And I think NXT would be good enough to get the crowd so fucking hype after an hour that they're ready for SmackDown.
And it could be like your pre-show.
Right.
So in between matches, you'd have your SmackDown commentators saying, "Oh, coming up at 8:00, whatever the fuck."
Plus, if All Elite is going to have its show on Tuesdays, then they're going to want all hands on deck too.
Yeah, I think I heard that they might be dropping the Tuesday thing based on whoever they sign their agreement with. Which it's amazing to me. I guess it shouldn't be that amazing to me because, Tony Khan is a billionaire, that he has connections to TV. But the fact that they've got multiple TV offers that they have to look over, holy jeez. That's pretty amazing that they've got more than one offer. Like, you'd think a new company, they would just be happy to get one offer and take it and go with it. But no, it's we're in a different world now. It's very interesting.
Yeah, you're not kidding. It's everything is different now. Everything is different.
I was very, very shocked when I heard that report come out about if you have an offer on a written offer on the table from another company, that WWE could double it. Just out of the hey, here's double what they're offering because we don't want you to sign with them.
Well, now I'm glad you that kind of opened up the door to this one. So I read today, and again, this is not necessarily gospel information, but I'm hearing that Dolph Ziggler officially has declined renewing a contract when it expires. So it looks like he may actually go to AEW, which I think would be the best thing for him, to be honest, at this point.
Yeah, and again, that could also be a negotiation tactic. So,
True.
Hey, which is fine too. It's the fact that you can even use All Elite Wrestling as a bargaining tool now. Like I wouldn't have predicted that.
But here, let me ask you this though. What if All Elite came back and didn't offer as much, but really offered a great deal, but more opportunity? You know what I mean? And less of a schedule and this and that.
Yeah,
I think
it's not always about
he would
money.
made enough money now where I think he would be willing to take a little bit less and work a lighter schedule, get some health care, and wrestle and try something different. He can always go back.
Right.
You know what I mean? If he leaves the right way anyway.
For sure. And I think that's the thing. Some of these guys could take a little less on the All Elite offer, especially if they've made money in the WWE like Chris Jericho has. Chris Jericho's set. He doesn't need money.
Well, Chris Jericho
he likes money, but doesn't need money.
Well, Chris Jericho, who doesn't like money? But I actually heard something where Chris Jericho flat out said he's not doing this at all for the money. He's made his money. He has money.
Yeah.
He's doing this because he loves the wrestling business and he thinks this is just something special. And he wants to be a part of it. And you can't blame him. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and I think here's the other thing is if it appears to me that All Elite is looking to really make things different and change the way wrestling is run. So if the contracts are as fluid as they're saying they're going to be, there's nothing to say that somebody can't sign with All Elite and then still like work indie dates or try and get themselves booked for acting gigs on TV or whatever. I feel like All Elite is more amenable to something like that, where you can pursue your outside interests or pursue working independent dates or whatever, because the contract isn't as locked down as a WWE contract.
Right. Anyone hear that?
Yeah. Is that like somebody marching upstairs? Well, or typing? I don't know. But I was hearing that too. It sounded like
I'm just glad it wasn't just me. I was like, what the fuck?
I know. I wasn't gonna say anything because I figured maybe it was like the kids were running around upstairs and like they'll stop eventually. I don't know. I have no idea what that was. That's very weird.
That was very bizarre. Anywho.
But we're past them now. Yeah, I just think it's
we've had weirder sounds on this show.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, we've had such weird sounds on this show. Thanks.
That we have. I was just gonna say we even had peeing. That's so funny.
Oh man.
This is an interesting takeover.
Phoenix?
Why is that?
Well, because I didn't expect them to do Shayna versus Bianca.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice, which is I don't dislike it.
It's almost as if they're turning Bianca face right now. I mean, she does get a good reaction when she comes out. Gargano challenging for the North American title is interesting.
Well, I feel like no matter what happens, this comes all the way back around to Gargano versus Ciampa at the WrestleMania takeover.
What about Warbeard and all them? Are they War Machine? Are they wrestling?
They got the tag title shot against Undisputed Era. I think they're taking the belts.
Yeah, they've got a tag title. I feel good about that tag title shot. I don't want.
They're already the tag champs in my game,
dude. They've got the look. They're big guys,
they're
but
amazing.
They can move. It's a real like everything. Here's the funny thing: everything they wanted the Bludgeon Brothers to be, the War Raiders already are. That's them. Just like at one point,
they're already the tag team champions in my game. Already
for NXT or for main roster.
They're still in NXT right now. I needed them on the roster, although now with the new pack, I just got a bunch of new people added, so I might move them up to the main roster.
Good idea.
And by the way, Ricochet is fucking awesome in the game.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to
badass.
To download the update.
The War Raiders, they just last week on NXT they cut this promo about how they're taking the belts from Undisputed Era. It was almost looked like a Viking funeral kind of thing.
Nice. Yeah, they lit that big pyre or whatever it was.
It was really cool.
I got to go back and watch.
I know. I mean, I feel like that was something they did at Raymond Rowe's wedding to Sarah Logan.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they were like, all right, we're already wearing the clothes. There's probably fire. Why wouldn't there be fire at a Viking wedding?
The problem with the NXT UK is that they taped all this shit back in like August and September, and then they decided to wait a couple of months, and then put on 2 episodes a freaking week. So
Yeah.
don't have enough time to get into it and really, you know.
Yeah, that's the other thing that could be a positive if they were to go to a weekly program on Fox.
Now they're back to regular, you know, once a week thing. But they but they didn't spread it out as much before.
Yeah. So I mean, as long as they get back down
But it's like
the regular schedule, that's good.
For UK though, it's like up until the end of the night, I was like, there's nobody credible on that roster to take the belt from Pete Dunne. And then Walter comes out. I'm like, oh, there he is.
Yeah, that's the thing. There was, again, there are levels to wrestling, and Pete Dunne and the rest of British Strong Style are at the top, and then the rest of the UK guys are just not at their level yet. I'm not saying they won't ever get there. They probably will, most of them. I'm just saying that right now, I agree with Eric. There's nobody on that roster that could take the title off of Pete Dunne, especially having it for over 600 days. Like, you got to have somebody who's ready to take that title. All right, did anybody hear that?
That I hear.
Yeah, what is that?
That.
We've got so many audio problems.
I don't even know, because that's not on my end. That's very
sounds
weird.
Like Stewie's hard drive.
Oh, God, he's back.
He's with us.
Yeah, I mean,
2019.
he has to be, man. Who else is making that noise? But
so
should we handle questions? Should we do?
I think Amanda sent a couple.
Yeah, and I think Kat did as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
one
Kat
from
sent
last
one.
week, right?
Yeah. So let's see what this. I'm gonna try and scroll. Is it back up?
Oh, you're on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So it looks like 2 from Amanda. And I'll just say this one briefly because we do say it every week. If you ask a question using hashtag AskTheWarReport on social media and you tag @TagMeADate, or you send an email to AskTheWarReport@gmail.com, you will be entered in our monthly WrestleRumble.com pay-per-view pick'em contest, where one person who asks a question every month gets a free WrestleRumble.com pay-per-view pick'em entry.
Which means we will be picking one from this month for the Royal Rumble pick'em, and we will get an email out to the winner.
Yeah.
We'll have Amanda get on that. So we'll be picking later on tonight.
Yeah, and so we'll update you if you entered. Please check your social media or email inboxes to see if you're the winner. Mapleleaf_Tom. Your first wrestling memory that made you go, holy shit. Huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I could say for me, my first holy shit moment that I can remember was Marty Jannetty getting thrown through the glass in the barber shop and the rockers breaking up. That, for me, I think, was my first big holy shit. My second would be Hogan turning heel for the first time that I remember. I mean, he started out as a heel, but when he became the Immortal Hulk Hogan, you know, when he went to WCW and turned heel, that was those would be my 2 biggest ones. if I had a third, and I'll leave it at this, my third would be when Undertaker launched Mick Foley on top of the cell.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah,
that was a hell of a thing. Eric, how about you?
I mean, yeah, those are all great. Like Kat mentioned something about like the snake biting Macho Man.
yes.
Oh yeah,
that's up there. You know what? I haven't talked about this. No one's talked about this in a long time. It was like the late '80s. Brutus Beefcake was around, and when Outlaw Ron Bass, he was feuding with him, and he cut his hair, and he got pissed at him, and then he drew like a lot of blood from Brutus, and that was ahead of its time.
Yeah, anything. I mean, I know bloody stuff happened in the territories, but it didn't happen on TV a whole heck of a lot back then.
When Jake came out and pulled Rude's pants down.
One of them for me was, if you, I don't know how much you guys watched WCW.
Oh yeah,
during its prime, yeah. There was that point where, after Sting became the Crow Sting, and after the NWO put out their Imposter Sting,
yep,
where Sting refused to speak for like a year. He didn't say a word, didn't cut a promo. They showed him in the rafters, maybe a crow.
Awesome.
It was awesome. And then one day, he just gets in the ring with J.J. Dillon and starts cutting a promo on J.J. Dillon. And the whole crowd lost their fucking minds because they hadn't heard Sting say a word in over a year.
Yeah, it's so fucking true. I remember that like it was yesterday.
That was a holy shit moment for me, for sure. I don't know if it's my earliest, but I mean, that was in terms of the whole NWO versus Sting. Versus
the whole Monday Night War was a, oh my God, holy shit
that's true
moment.
Too. Those few years, yes.
I mean, you'd have the year anniversary of the NWO where they took over Nitro. And they gave Hulk Hogan 2 motorcycles, even though they were only supposed to give him 1. They gave him 2 motorcycles. There was like a ticker tape confetti and shit falling from the sky with the NWO logo on it. And at the end of it, Hogan gets a box. And he opens the box. And it's from Sting. It's Hogan's head. They made like a latex Hulk Hogan head. And everybody freaked out because he got a head in the box.
I remember that.
Warrior showing up in WCW is
that's a holy shit moment. I mean, who would have ever thought? You thought he was done with wrestling after '95? They tried to have him come back. He beat Hunter at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
you figured he was done.
Time too. He beat him in like 20 seconds.
You noticed that Triple H has had that record broken a couple times since then.
Oh, yes.
He's not staying on the record books for that one.
I'm sure he had absolutely everything to do with that, too.
For sure.
Oh, yes.
Favorite wrestling match in the past year?
Oh, wow.
And that's from Mr. Shadmans with a Z. Mr. Shadmans. Whew. That's kind of tough.
That is tough.
I really liked the actual Rumble matches of 2018. Like, usually the Rumble match the past couple years hasn't been really that great, but the match itself was like a really good Rumble this year for the women and the men. Let's see. I'm going to try and go through some other... I mean, Omega Okada had good matches. Omega Tanahashi. Actually, I really liked a lot of All In, but Marty Scurll wrestled Okada for the IWGP Championship at All In, and that was a very good match. And Flip wrestled Jay Lethal at All In. That was a very good match.
Didn't Omega fight Pentagon?
Omega did. Was he in?
Or was it Omega Jericho? Or no, that wasn't All In. That was Japan earlier in the year.
Yeah, let me get to the card for All In. Pre-show, preliminary match.
For me, I'd go with semifinals.
That was Kenny Penta. Kenny Penta was a good match too. So
I'd go. I got semifinals Mae Young Classic. Tony Storm versus Miko Satomura.
Yeah. You know, Kurt Angle and Ronda against Triple H and Steph.
That was my favorite match of the night. Actually.
That was such a good match. Holy shit!
That was a great match.
Although that Seth Miz Balor's triple threat for the IC title was good too.
That was a good opener. That was a good one. WrestleMania actually had some. Aside from the fact that it was 14 hours long, was actually very good. Like WrestleMania was solid.
And aside from the finish, Asuka versus Charlotte was very good.
Yeah.
That's going to be the new norm, though, now. And we're going to be there live for this one.
Oh, in terms of quality of matches?
No, the length.
Oh, the length? Yeah. It's gonna be an all-day affair. New Japan just decided, and maybe WWE will follow suit, maybe not. New Japan decided that their big January 4th Wrestle Kingdom show is now 2 days long. Because the last one, honestly, the last Wrestle Kingdom, which was 3 weeks ago, it was a 4-hour long show. And all of the matches were fantastic, but I couldn't finish it in one sitting. It was just, it was 4 hours, and it was a bunch of matches. So, might be a good idea to. We'll see how it affects them next year, splitting up the big show. Like that's their WrestleMania.
I almost feel like that wouldn't be a bad idea to do for WrestleMania.
And have maybe have TakeOver integrated into the first half of the show on Saturday. So the main event is NXT's championship or NXT's main feud. So you feature NXT on day 1, and then day 2 you feature the WWE guys. I don't know. Because you can mix them in. You can mix in the UK NXT matches and the US NXT matches, along with whatever they decide would be the WWE matches for day 1 of WrestleMania. And then day 2, you do your main card stuff.
I'm not opposed to that idea.
Yeah, we'll see. Because this year will be interesting to compare. Because I went to 29.
Oh, so that's right.
It'll be interesting. So I was able to see 30, and then this most recent one in New Orleans to see the kind of the differences in the set and the setup and how fast you get in and where you had to stand in line, all that stuff. Superdome is hands down the best in New Orleans. They know how to get people in and out of that building. But anyway, it'll be interesting to me to see how the setup is and how getting in and out of the venue is, and just how much it's changed since the last time they were in New York. Because it was a pretty long show.
And it was cold.
Oh, yeah. And it rained during
it did.
Wade Barrett versus The Miz.
Yep. But they were good because they had the tarp over the ring. So
yeah, they had the fucking Statue of Liberty.
I remember I paid $10 for a hot chocolate. By the time I got back to my seat, it was cold.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. But it was so great.
It was. I wore a ski jacket, like a big, thick ski jacket. But it was definitely great.
So is that all the questions?
One more from... Those were all the ones from Amanda's Instagram.
I had strep throat that weekend.
Oh, geez, that sucks. I'm getting a cold or something right now, and it stinks.
Yeah, I hear it. It's horrible.
I might have to actually go. It's so cold out, I don't want to go anywhere, but I might have to go buy some fucking NyQuil or something. Kaylee Natalie. Hi, guys. Happy New Year. My question was Rumble around the corner. Will there be a surprise entry? Well, Happy New Year, Kaylee.
We covered it.
Yeah, I think there will definitely be surprise entries, but honestly, this year, I don't know who they're... It's truly going to be a surprise to me who comes out.
And you got to remember, too, people that make their surprise returns are going to be considered surprise entrants too, like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, shit like that. So
or promotions from NXT. We could have some NXT people show up for sure.
Right, EC3 might be in the Rumble.
EC3, Velveteen Dream could be in the Rumble.
I wish they didn't, announce some of these NXT guys coming up, so then EC3 could be a surprise.
A true surprise, yeah. Well, did you see that the Velveteen Dream?
Fuck him. Let me tell you something. It better be a work.
It's a work.
It has to be a work.
Because I'm just saying this. I didn't like his ass on Tough Enough. I thought he was a pompous prick then, and I still think he's a pompous prick. I happen to enjoy him in the ring, and I like the gimmick. But fuck him. That's all I got to say.
What is it? He knows his worth. He only wants to wrestle John Cena right now?
I think it'll be a great match.
That's such a work.
Listen.
But it could be WrestleMania worthy.
Notice, by the way, there has been no mention of Lars. Nothing.
Zero.
And I still have heard nothing behind the scenes. Nothing at all. So, but listen, we're at the very top of the hour. SmackDown's about to start. I just wanted to make an official announcement that we are going to officially launch apps for Android and Apple WrestleMania weekend. It is official. That is the official date, and we will have hopefully our first promo commercial promoting it during the Rumble this weekend.
Excellent.
Yes.
That is very, very, very good to hear.
Yes, we're very excited. A lot of time, a lot of work. Hopefully it goes off without a hitch.
Oh, I know. It's been a long time, a long time coming, this app.
Yeah. I'm very proud of it. So hopefully it's a success. We'll see.
Yes, and I'm going to have to see. I did just start a new job in the new year, so my schedule is a little weird. I think I might not be on the show next week, but that'll be good for like the next 6 weeks or something. Yeah, I work next Tuesday night. I work the 20th. But once I get, because this is not my permanent rotation. Once I get my permanent rotation, I'll know how many days I'm going to have to take off or how many days I'll be off for WrestleMania weekend. And hopefully, I know I only bought tickets for Mania because that's usually just what I do is I buy tickets for Mania and then kind of play it by ear with the other shows because there's so much stuff going on.
Right.
That I just eventually go, okay, well, we'll go to that one because it's close by or whatever. Like last time in New York, the hotel and the convention center were in the same plaza. So it was like I just walked across the street to WrestleCon. So I got to see all the matches. Like I went to every single show that year. So, but they were all nearby. Now, with the way WrestleCon and all the matches and the WrestleMania weekend thing is spread, it's all over the city. It's both in New York and in New Jersey. It's spread all over the place. So
I'm probably at this point. I think I'm only going to be doing Mania all day.
Well, yeah, that.
But no, but like I mean, we're gonna do a little tailgate. We're gonna get there like mad early. We're gonna do WrestleFest. We'll do the shit over. We'll do the what do they call it? The access. Because it'll be there. So we'll do the access and then we'll walk over to the stadium and we'll do Mania and the Tag Me a Day crew will all be together. It'll be a great time. We lucked out. We got seats pretty damn close together for everybody. So it's going to be a good time. And back in New York. So here we go.
Yeah. WrestleMania weekend. Look for the Tag Me a Date app. Android and Apple, which is great to hear that we got both platforms. I know sometimes it's hard to get approved by Apple, so glad that worked out. But the best way to find out about updates to this, as soon as you said the app was going to launch WrestleMania weekend, I was thinking in my mind how we need to find a bar in New York and do some sort of app launch at a bar with maybe a wrestler or two sprinkled in to keep things interesting.
We'll have to talk and throw some ideas.
That's why I'm saying once I see what my schedule is, we can try and see who's available for what. I know people are starting to get booked up for that weekend, but you know, something to think about is a little app, especially since we're all going to be there. We can all pick a bar, have like a fun little event, or like a Dave and Buster's, or you know what I mean, something like that, where we can plug the app and get people to go and download. I mean, shit, it's only gonna be what, 99 cents.
Oh no, the app is going to be free for now.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 99 cents. It's even better.
Oh, free app. Right now we're doing it free. So everyone, everyone start downloading it. We will be coming out with a upgraded version where you'll be able to access some other features. I am currently coming up with some additional ideas that we are going to put together and see if we can do as an upgrade. And we're going to get some advertising. And so we're gonna do it the right way. But for the fans, for now, it's going to be completely free.
That's awesome.
To find somebody who enjoys wrestling. So it's free. I mean, download it. When I tell you it's ready, because it's coming.
Right. It's
WrestleMania weekend. WrestleMania weekend. That's the plan, Stan.
Excellent. Well, the best way to find out about that is our social media at Tag Me a Date, no spaces, squish it all together. Instagram and Twitter for that. And also, if you go to youtube.com. In the search bar, you type in Tag Me a Date, also no spaces, Tag Me a Date, squish it together, and you will see the Tag Me a Date channel. Subscribe, hit the bell. The bell is almost more important than the subscribe, but you need to do both. That's the thing about YouTube. When you hit the bell with the subscribe together, they send you an alert to your device when we upload a new video or we go live. And usually we go live 7 p.m. on Eastern time on Tuesday evening. And again, adjust your clocks as needed if you're not in our time zone. But we would really appreciate it if you do subscribe to the Tag Me a Date YouTube channel at Tag Me a Date. Follow us on social media. And I think that's it for now. We'll be presenting updates about the app as they come along. So we'll see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Eastern time, right back here on the Tag Me a Date YouTube channel for another edition of the War Report, brought to you by TagMeADate.com, which is the first and only dating site exclusively for fans of professional wrestling. You can find your tag team match on TagMeADate.com with a roster of over 70,000 superstars and divas. You can search by location, search by your favorite match, your favorite pay-per-view, and a lot of other search items or search terms for you to find your tag team partner. It's all free on tagmeadate.com. So we will see you next week right back here, 7 p.m. on Eastern time for another edition of the War Report. Thank you for watching.